Hello, Wildcat fans, and welcome into our Big Sky Virtual Media Day. This is Weber State Men's Basketball. I'm Paul Grew, Director of Athletic Communications, joined also by Steve Clocky, our radio play-by-play voice of the Wildcats. And today we're pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Wildcats, Randy Ray, who's entering his 15th season at Weber State, and also senior point guard Isaiah Brown, who's in his first year as his graduate transfer with the Wildcats. Guys, glad to get together today and talk a little Wildcat basketball as we're getting closer to this season. And I'm sure Coach Ray will start with you. You just can't wait to get this thing started.
No, we're excited. Yeah, we've been going here for a little bit now and doing some team workouts and then official practice starting about a little over a week ago. But so far so good. The guys are working really, really hard. It's a good group, and we still got some time on our hands before we play. But like I say, practice has been going good. Guys are doing a good job, and we just we try to live moment by moment and try to have the best day we can today, and before you know it, we'll be hooking up and playing games, and we can't wait.
Coach, at the end of last season, I know that you talked about making some changes, seeing some new players brought in, but I didn't think it would be to this extent. And a lot of new faces, only four familiar faces from last year.
Yeah, no, we changed the roster, as you know, and we had some goals in mind after last season. And first of all and foremost, we felt like we needed to get older, and so we brought in some older kids, some transfer kids, and we needed to get bigger and longer. And I think we were able to do that along with being older. We needed to address some shooting and some guys that just had a good feel for playing basketball, good basketball players. And we feel really good that we addressed all those needs. And we do have 9 new ones. I'm excited about all of them. First and foremost, we feel like we got kids that really fit our culture of how we do things at Weber State, and they've done a really good job of buying in a short amount of time to what that culture is, and embracing it, and living it, day by day. And so I'm really excited about the group, and kids are playing hard, they're working hard, they're good guys. I think I feel good that our chemistry is good, and we just when you bring in that many new guys, the biggest thing is getting the team to play for each other, and they've been really doing that thus far, and so I'm excited about that.
Of course, one of the new guys we have with us, that's Isaiah Brown. As I mentioned, a senior graduate transfer with the Wildcats. Isaiah, you have quite a history to get to Weber State. We're going to get to that in a minute. You come from Alaska to Seattle, and then you've been to the two different universities, and here you are at Weber State. So why don't you take us through what brought you, what made the decision for you to come here this year with the Wildcats?
Just I think really an opportunity that I was looking for, to be a leader, to be, somebody on a team that I felt like I hadn't necessarily got an opportunity to do. And, my relationship with Coach Ray was something that really progressed over a really short amount of time. When I decided I was looking for, another opportunity. And just I think that connection along with, what the potential of, my opportunity here, both as a player and as a leader, and the type of program that that obviously Coach Ray has, and here at Weber State, it was something that I really wanted to be a part of, something that I think I could have had a big impact on, and a situation that I wanted to be in. So really stemmed from that relationship. We got close really fast, and the trust factor was something that was really important to me, and I felt that all the way through from top to bottom, not just with Coach Ray, but with the entire staffs. So just where I felt most comfortable, the guys that I felt like knew me the most, and understood me the most, and that made me want to be here.
In your own mind, Isaiah, as a guy who started at Northwestern, went to Grand Canyon, now at Weber State, obviously you love the color purple, but what is it that you think you bring most to this roster?
Experience, absolutely. I've talked about this all the time, but I've seen, pretty much everything there is to see in college basketball. All the way from the best part of it to the worst part of it. The good, the bad, the winning and the losing. Playing really well and not playing as well. So I definitely think I offer, a lot of experience aside from things that I can do on the basketball court from maybe a statistical perspective, scoring and being a quarterback, which is something that, Coach Ray and I have talked about since even before, I committed to come here, and that was something that he was looking for. That was something that I was looking for, and an opportunity. And, I definitely think I bring that to the floor along with, scoring the basketball and being a leader and things like that. But yeah, the experience factor is big for me. Obviously, having 9 new guys and we have young guys and things like that. That's definitely a big, responsibility on my end.
Coach Ray, I was going to ask you, Isaiah is one of the seniors that you brought in. As you mentioned, you wanted to get some older players, some experience, some veterans in, and he's one of those that is right at the top of that list. But what do you think all these new players and experience will bring to your team?
Well, just what you said, experience. We've had guys that have been through a Division I program before. They've kind of been there and done that. They know how a Division I program works, the work you got to put in, the preparation, all those kind of things that when you bring in younger guys, it takes them a year or two to figure those things out. And these guys have experienced it. So I think that's one thing. They've been through the wars a little bit. They've been a part of things. Some guys, I think, and I like this. I think we've got some guys that have something to prove. They've been in some programs where maybe they haven't had their opportunity to show what they can do yet, and they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And I like guys that have that. But I do think overall, just the guys that have been through it, they know how a Division I program works. Now they got to get adjusted to how we do things because we do things a little different sometimes. But that's the biggest thing. And when you start playing games, they've been on the road in tough environments. They know what it takes. And so the process of getting them together quicker because they have that experience, I think is going to happen.
We've been talking about all the new guys. What about some of the other guys who have been in your program for a while? Guys like Michael Kozak and Cam Davis and KJ Cunningham. How are they accepting the new guys?
Good. Yeah, they've been great. They're good kids. They want to win. They're all about whatever we got to do to become better. And they've been working really hard. I think they fit in really well. And I think the new guys have fit in well with them. Our new guys understand that we have some guys that have been here a while and they respect that. So I think it's been a pretty seamless transition between the guys that were here and the guys that we brought in. And they're working hard and they're doing their part like they always have because they understand our culture. And they've also kind of helped some of the other new guys that we brought in to understand our culture as well. So it's been more of a seamless transition.
Well, as we wrap up our Big Sky Virtual Media Day, just the last question for me, for both you and Isaiah. In the Big Sky schedule, we're going to have a different look to the schedule, obviously, where we go and play a team on a Thursday and then play that same team on a Saturday and then have the same thing at home. So a different format from what we're used to. Coach, and then we'll ask both of you and then Isaiah, how do you think that will play into things as we get into Big Sky season?
Hey, games are games. Games are games. Whether you're playing the same opponent twice on a weekend, whatever you're doing, hey, it's time to play, and we're going to go play. And but I'm just thankful and grateful that the Big Sky put together a season, that we're going to have a season. We still don't know exactly what that'll look like as you move forward, but we're up for anything. As I told everybody, I don't care who we play, when we play, where we play them. We just want to play. And the schedule that came out, we're ready for it. We will be ready for it. And when it's time to go, we'll be ready to go. So a little bit different, but that's okay. You got to adjust to what's ever out there. And like I said, in about 4 weeks, we'll be ready to go.
Isaiah, you're going to be ready to go too, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've taken that kind of mindset from day one, even when we didn't necessarily know what the schedule was going to look like or when it was going to be or anything. We just, if there's going to be games, then we're preparing to play games. Whoever those games are against isn't necessarily up to us. So we're just, been trying to focus on the things that we can control and kind of day by day, make sure that, whenever they say go, we're going to be ready to go. So I feel confident in that. That's the approach we've taken. And, like Coach said, when it's time to go, we'll be ready to go.
Can't wait for some Wildcat basketball. It starts November 25th, and then the Big Sky season will begin in December. Coach Ray, entering his 15th season. Thanks for joining us. And Isaiah Brown, can't wait to watch you with the Wildcats. Steve, thank you as well. And go Wildcats. Hello again, Wildcat fans, and welcome to another Big Sky Media Day. Today is the Weber State women's basketball team. I'm Paul Grew, the Director of Athletic Communications at Weber State, and joined again by Steve Klauke, the radio play-by-play voice of the Wildcats as well. And Steve, we're excited today to talk to Valena Harris, the head coach of the Wildcat women's team, and Corey Pencer, a junior on the Wildcat squad. So, ladies, thanks for joining us. Coach, we're going to start with you. You're entering your third season with the Wildcats. It's been an off season unlike any other, obviously, but I can't imagine. I imagine you just can't wait to get started.
Well, yeah, you're correct, Paul. It's been an off season like no other. There's been a lot that's gone on, just worldwide. And so I think the biggest thing for us is just trying to, keep our focus in terms of what's important to us and what we're trying to accomplish here as a program. It's year 3, and I've said to these kids, like, it's time. It's time for us to make a change, to make a difference. And so hopefully working on ourselves individually, whether that be skill development, whether that be as being human beings, or a lot of different things that we're trying to improve and get better. So we're excited about it. We've actually been together since June. Like we separated directly after the conference tournament, and then we communicated, but then we got back together June 23rd, and we've had a couple breaks since then, but we've really been trying to dig in. And so it was exciting to start official practice. And so I think just the pieces of growth that I'm seeing, I'm excited about it. We really discussed the season. We talked about conference. We know what our schedule is finally, Paul. We know what our schedule is. It's changed 7 different times, but we know what that is. And so now we have specific goals that we're going to try to move towards.
While the number of wins probably not what you wanted to see last year, the one thing that I did notice was the gradual improvement. The games were closer. You were competitive, fought hard to the very end, especially those last 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season. Can you build on that over the course of a summer and from last spring to this point now to build on for this year?
Well, I think so, Steve. And, we talked about this. Again, we just had this conversation last week about specifically what our conference looks like, specifically about what certain teams gained and what certain teams lost, specifically about us. Because last year, if you looked at us and you saw our bench, you saw 5 people always on the end, fully clothed the entire time. So where we benefited last year, and again, it was not in the record, where we benefited is that younger people got more experience. Right? Younger people got more experience. Corey gets more experience, not even playing the position that she normally plays. So this year, she finally gets to play off the ball, which is where she's going to be more effective to us. We finally get Dominique back, who we need her inside presence. We finally get the point guard that we recruited, who ended up getting hurt before the season. We get her back. And so getting all these pieces back, we have 5 new pieces. And the 2 new pieces that we have plenty of experience, the ones that are new to our program. But we get Cheyenne Johnson back. We get so many different pieces back that can now work with what we had last year. And so, yeah, I'm optimistic, but I'm also try to be very honest with these kids in terms of what it's going to take for us to make that turnaround.
Corey, on behalf of the players, what's this offseason been like for you guys with all the things that have been going on? How's it been to deal with all that?
Honestly, it's been tough, but I feel very blessed and thankful to, like, most of us had a court or a gym when we were able to go home, and the coaches sent us workouts that we were really able to just focus on individual stuff. And I think a lot of us just benefited from that time away to focus, like, mentally and just on pieces that each individually we needed to get better at. So then we were able to come back all together. We just got so much individual time with the coaches that was just, like, so good for our really younger kids who now have experience and individual time. So now we're just putting all those pieces together.
Even though you were out of position, you were able to, as a sophomore, start all 30 games. That had to be a lot of fun to start. And talk about then your development, how you felt about your game being able to start all 30.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was playing point guard until our other one got hurt, and Coach B said, well, I guess it's you. So, it was a really different for me. I really struggled in the beginning, I think, but I just think having that experience under my belt now, and as the year went on, being able to learn through experience is like something I'll never take for granted, because most players don't get that. They'll have to learn from the bench or practice time, but I got game experience. So it was exciting. It was tough, but like at the end of the year, especially, I felt comfortable with where I was and my growth, and just really thinking about where I started and where I finished. I'm really proud of that, that piece.
Yeah. Great. Coach Harrison, the Big Sky schedule that just came out not long ago, it's going to be a different format where you go and play a team twice the same week, and very different, less travel, but obviously a different format than we're used to. How do you think that will play out this year?
Well, it's interesting. You know, we went game by game. We honestly went game by game and team by team. And so what I do like about it, what I'll say is, one, first of all, we get to play. That's number one. Like, we get the opportunity to play. And that's really what I'm impressing upon these young women, is we get an opportunity. So let's take advantage of that. And let's be grateful for that. Within all that's going on, we have some things to be grateful for, right? And so in talking about that, what I like about this schedule is the fact that you can play somebody on Thursday, you turn around and play them on Saturday. Because generally you play somebody at the beginning of the year, you don't see them for 4 weeks and they're a totally different team. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the pluses with it. Now, there's always the issues about parity and who gets to play who at home and away and everything like that. But we have a schedule, and so we're just going to attack it as such. And so I believe that with my staff and the way that I believe we scout and the way that we prepare for teams, I like this setup, you know, in terms of where we are right now. Now, do I want it for the rest of Big Sky history? I don't know, but we're ready for it, you know.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. And you kind of touched on it there. You play a team on Thursday, and instead of having to go to a whole new scouting report and get ready for a whole new team, now you can just spend those 48 hours tweaking a little thing that you can adjust to from the previous game.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. Exactly right. And as we talk about our team, there's a lot of pieces, because we always have a run somewhere in a game. If we're in a game, right, we always have a run where we just, in terms of what our experience, right, in terms of our maturity, where we struggle in some things. And so that's really what we try to hone in on. And that's really what I've been talking to them about, is being consistent, attention to detail. And we have to be able to communicate, you know, at a much higher level. So there's certain pieces that I think benefit us again in the schedule, but really it comes down to who we are, how we have matured, how I'm better as a coach, how they're better as individual players, and then just getting all that to work together.
Well, as we wrap it up with both of you, I'm just going to ask you both, what does it need? What do you need to do this year? What do you look for your team to need to do to make the improvements that you want to make? What are the keys?
Our keys within the team will be really just communication, discipline, and just chemistry. We haven't played in a long time, so we have all the pieces. We have all the talent, but we just have to put it together, and that just comes through practice every day, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. I'm ready. Yeah.
And to me, it's the commitment on all levels, the commitment to do just that, the commitment to be a better communicator, the commitment to be in the gym when you need to be in the gym, the commitment to the team and all that encompasses, you know what I mean? And so the commitment of us as a staff to be truly prepared for every single game. You know what I mean? So anything that I ask of my players, I ask of my staff, and I expect of myself. And so that's what it has to be, you know, from top to bottom. And I think that if we really focus on that, and again, there are going to be hitches, there are going to be glitches, things like that are going to happen, but then how do we respond? You know what I mean? And so we are in a situation right now, in terms of the talent that we have, in terms of the health that we have, in terms of the experience that we have, we're in a situation where we can have an incredible turnaround. Right? But that's up to us. That's up to nobody else but us in this pandemic. That's really what it's up to. You know what I mean? So,
well, let's have some fun. I can tell you're both excited. Let's get it started. Can't wait.
Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Fanless, but that's okay. We're gonna get some cutouts in there.
That's right. Whatever it takes.
And we got
Corey Pencer and Coach Harris, thanks for joining us, and Steve as well. Wildcat season begins soon, and thanks for joining us on the Big Sky Media Day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.